This morning, we take you to one of the last remnants of what New York was like before New York City ever existed. A small, old-growth forest found inside the New York Botanical Garden. It survived everything from war to farming to real estate development. But now it faces a new threat. Michael George takes us inside.
Long before the crowds of Times Square and the lights of Broadway, this is what New York City looked like. And this is what it sounded like.
A forest that has not been cut down, has been untouched by humankind.
The Thain Family Forest, 50 acres of old-growth natural woods within the New York Botanical Garden in the Bronx.
When do the first leaves come out? When do the buds come out?
Few people know the magic of this place better than Joanne Strauss, a Bronx native who's been coming here since she was a young girl.
What makes this place special?
Well, just look around. You can't believe you're in the middle of New York City. You can't believe you're in the Bronx. It's so peaceful, it's quiet.
Joanne still walks these same trails today as a tour guide and a volunteer studying the forest's ecosystem.
I started volunteering here 20 years ago. I can't believe it. It seems like yesterday. And I started in the Master Composter program, and so that's how I got involved. I said, I have to be here more often.
Do you feel that this kind of volunteer work is more important now than ever?
Yes, absolutely. We want to educate people. We want to introduce people to the wonders of nature and how important it is for us to preserve this natural place and other natural places that we have.
The forest is nestled between the Bronx River Parkway and a Metro North station, just over 3 miles from Yankee Stadium. But it's easy to miss, even for locals.
Do most New Yorkers even know this exists?
I don't think so, because many times people come here and they say, I grew up in New York all my life. I had no clue.
The Bronx River makes this place a perfect refuge for native species like owls, foxes, and migratory birds. There are trees that have been standing here since the American Revolution. But the history of this forest actually predates America itself.
We should acknowledge that we are on ancestral land of the Lenape people, and we're going up this ridge here.
Elliot Nagel of the New York Botanical Garden is the forest's director.
So there is evidence to show that the Lenape used this land for hunting, but besides that, we don't know exactly how they would have used this forest specifically.
When colonists arrived, they quickly found they couldn't use this land for farming.
When you look through the site, it's very hilly and rocky. That's one of the reasons why up in through to the development of the New York Botanical Garden that the forest was preserved.
So the forest remained undeveloped, natural. In 1895, the city formally set aside this space, entrusting its protection to the Botanical Garden.
Is this forest the way it was hundreds and hundreds of years ago?
Absolutely not. And so that's one of the amazing things to see is that our natural ecosystems are constantly changing. That interaction with the city is causing all different types of changes.
Time and time again, invasive species have threatened the ecosystem here. It's taken generations of work to protect the native plants and animals. And now there's a new threat to the survival of this place. Severe weather events are already having an impact.
All these downed trees are from Ida?
Absolutely, yeah. That's just some of the impacts of our severe storms.
When the remnants of Hurricane Ida battered New York last September, the forest wasn't spared.
So when you talk about threats to the forest, like invasive species, like weather events, does climate change make those things worse?
As you increase those weather events and the severity of them, then we do increase the amount of disturbance in the forest. Increasing canopy gaps, but also invasive species coming into those areas and thriving. And by monitoring a forest like this, we can monitor those impacts, we can identify management practices to effectively treat them before they even have an opportunity to impact more of our larger rural areas upstate.
The hope is to ensure this place continues to give us a living, breathing window into New York's past for centuries to come.
What's at stake if we lose this forest?
I think it would be devastating. Look around, inhale deeply. You're just transported to a different world here. There's nothing like being close to nature.
There's kind of a quiet beauty to it that I think everyone has the opportunity to come here and explore and discover the site for themselves, and I hope they do.
For CBS Saturday Morning, Michael George, The Bronx.